Welcome to the Scatterpot podcast. This is episode almost something.
Almost 50. I think we're at 48. I'm pretty sure. It's always funny. We never look it up beforehand.
No.
We just get to this point, and then we're trying
That's, YOLO.
YOLO, bro. That's the name of our podcast. Just
The YOLO podcast.
The YOLO podcast. We're on 48.
Alright, this is episode 48.
Jeez.
Long time no see.
I know.
Oh.
I was like, where did we say we'd start again? We do have a topic today. We have a pretty big topic that we're going to talk about. Before we get into that topic, Hubert, you and I, this is no surprise to anyone, you and I are what we would consider the Weebs.
Oh.
We both are fans of anime and the culture of Japanese.
It's art.
It's art. Thank you, Stanley from The Office, for that deleted scene.
I shouldn't have deleted it. It would have been perfect.
But yeah, you and I are both big fans of anime, and for my sister recently, she's been trying to get into anime.
Mm-hmm.
Well, trying is the wrong word. She's been slowly adapting and watching more anime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she watches My Hero. We're currently going through Erased. Like, she's watching a couple different shows.
Oh, yeah.
And then she told me, hey, Kanan, I started watching this new show with another friend of mine. I'm like, cool. What show is it? And she said, first off, she said, well, I watched it on Hulu, if that helps you.
Okay.
Okay. And she goes, it's called, and I have the note right here, Asami Ma Gyago.
Asami Magiago.
No, okay.
I know you said that was wrong.
Asami Ma Gyago? Gyago. Gyago. At least that's how I transcribed it. This is the gibberish she says.
I'm trying to think any title close to that.
Asami Ma Gyago. Any guesses based on the title alone?
Asama.
No. Asami
Asami.
Ma Gyago.
And those are all separate.
The way she said it are three separate words.
Oh, no.
Now, granted, it's
that screws me up.
when you figure out what it is, you're gonna be like, how on earth did you?
No, I'm trying to think. What Asobi? Is that what she's trying to say?
Let me just give you the description now.
Okay.
I asked her to describe it. She said, the one about a group of assassins with a slutty cat lady.
A comment? What the frick?
I can't believe you got a comment immediately from that. Yeah, she was talking about.
I thought that literally. I'm not even joking. Before I was thinking, I actually thought, is she talking about Akame? And I was like, I'm thinking, you said Asami. Say it again.
Asami.
So I stopped. I said, the closest thing I know to that is Akame.
But then
you said Ma.
You have an advantage though, because I have the exact words she said.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, with me, she just went, Asami Ma Gyago, and I'm like, what?
Akame got killed. Where does the Gyago come from?
I don't know.
That's not even like the Japanese title is Akame got killed.
And then she was like, yeah, the group of assassins with a slutty cat lady. And I'm like, what on earth are you talking about? And she goes, like, the first episode with the guy and his two friends, and I'm like, are you talking about Akame got killed? And she goes, yes. And I'm like, first of all, not even close with the name.
No, that was
Second off,
bad.
She's not a cat lady. She is a beast woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, check yourself. I upset it. the dog. Even though her main attacks are very lioness, sort of. Gosh. And I'm like, there's so much wrong. I'm like, but all that aside, all your inaccuracies aside, it's a good show.
Yes.
And
how far is she in it?
From what she was talking about, I think she doesn't know what the show is really about, if you catch my drift.
Oh.
Because she didn't mention anything about, things that happen fairly early on in the show.
I'm trying to think how far she is, then.
What she described to me sounded like she was, like, 2 episodes in.
Yeah, she just knows that one.
Because all she mentioned was the group of assassins, which you meet in the first episode. She mentioned the cat lady business. That he joined them, and he doesn't officially join them till like the end of the first episode, beginning of second.
Mm-hmm.
So like, but she didn't mention anything about the weapons. She didn't mention anything about certain things that happened fairly early on, like episode 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
So she's in for a ride.
Oh yeah, she's gonna.
She's gonna learn to hate that piano tune they keep playing. That made me laugh so hard because I remember when I was watching the show for the first time with Josh Lee, and we realized the piano. I think we've mentioned this on the podcast before when we talked about anime a lot, but there's a piano tune they play when a certain thing happens. No spoilers for the show. And so you'll see something and then you'll hear the piano and you're like, wait, the fuck? What? And you're like, Nani? It's like, no. They start playing the piano and you're like, stop playing that stupid piano. And it's the same chords too. It's just
golly. Someone's must be home.
Okay, so Zeus is whimpering. That makes me believe it's Kinsley. All right, let's go into our main topic of today, Huber. Lead us in.
All right, so this topic comes from a special person that has been on the podcast, I believe, once or twice.
Once?
I'm not entirely
Maybe
sure.
twice.
But everybody knows. No, we talked about it sometimes, and yeah, he's been on the podcast some 1 or 2 times. He kind of gave birth to this idea.
Okay, I was like, what do you mean by give birth? No, yeah.
So basically,
he inspired this.
He inspired it.
Let's preface this for anyone who doesn't know. We're talking about our good old pal Noah Guy Davis.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a star on the podcast. I know at least once, possibly twice. Good friend of ours. One thing about Noah though is he's very competitive.
Yeah.
Like when he does something in anything, Kinsey's about to burst through the door in 3, 2, 1. Oh wait, that's you the gate. 3, 2,
yes,
1.
She asked if we were podcasting.
Well, every time we tried to put up warning signs before, it didn't work. Remember the doorknob? I put something over the doorknob to read.
And you opened it up. What does it say?
What does this note say? But no, our good friend Noah Davis, he's very competitive. Like when he plays a game, he never plays a game. I mean, he does, but like for most games, he never plays them for fun.
90% of the time.
90% of the time, when he's playing a game, he is like, he's a tryhard.
Mm-hmm.
We love him, but he's a tryhard.
Yes, he's a tryhard. So that's kind of a background for Noah.
Mm-hmm.
So then that kind of segues into what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Competitive, I guess you would say, the competitive scene in video games. Now, the reason this is coming up is because Noah was talking about wanting to compete in Pokemon.
Yeah, and in Pokemon Sword and Shield, he wants to do competitive battles. Also, Origin just opened up again.
Alright, this is a duty for this
No, my cookie clicker.
Wrong one.
No, wait. Oh, I thought you were about to shut down my computer.
No.
Not my cookie clicker.
This should end it forever. And then we have to scroll down into here. Yeah. Oh. Aha, see, it's right here. it hides, dude. I've had things like that. I've had my Oculus software. Randomly, it'll say it needs an update or something, but the application won't be open. But in Task Manager, it's like a background. So like every 20 minutes, it's like Alt Tab. You need to update this, and that's just that.
But, but no. Yeah, we were just talking about the competitive nature and the competitive scene of video games, board game. Well, not board games, more.
We
card
said
games.
board games, but card games in particular.
Yeah, I mean there are professional board game players, but not to the same extent as card games like Pokemon TCG, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh,
Hearthstone.
Hearthstone technically it's weird counting Hearthstone as a card game.
We can,
but that's sort of more video game. But like, Yeah, just
they try to compete with Magic. And
what's that one? Vanguard, that one card game.
Oh yeah.
That we came up with a theory on what cards were more powerful than the others, and our theory so far is 100% correct. I have not seen any cards that disprove our theory on Vanguard.
It's a pretty good game. Y'all should get into it. Anyways.
Like, it's the size.
It's the size that matters.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's so funny. But
yes, the overall reason why we're having this, because Noah said that, and I basically said I don't see Pokemon competitiveness as a true competitive scene because of, and I can just go ahead and say it, and then we can.
Yeah, and then like. Of course, then I started mentioning like how some people see competitive card games as not a true competitive nature, and so like, yeah, this is our topic for the day.
So, in Pokemon, and I don't know too much, but from what I've been told, competitive Pokemon
is a pain.
It's basically getting the right of everything. So like, there's like natures in Pokemon and stats in Pokemon and stuff like that. So it's getting let's just not just say Pikachu, and let's just say happy Pikachu. That might be it. Whoa,
Pikachu's not even a competitive pick, bro.
whoa.
What you saying, bro?
But just a Pikachu, a happy Pikachu with a certain special attack or special, I don't know.
So I'm gonna step in here because I'm not super well versed, but I'm more well versed than you. So for those of you that don't know, Pokemon. They have natures and stuff like that, and like there's docile, naughty. I have a couple naughty Pokemon in my boxes right now, but like, yeah, there's all these different types, and types lead to percentages on different things like their stat bonuses, their likely to dodge an attack or likeliness to hit attacks, little like microscopic stats. Yeah. But they matter when you do competitive, because the difference with Pokemon as a competitive thing is that it's not as much of magic of RNG and getting it, like, because you have your 6 Pokemon. Right. And those are the 6 you have, and it's just strategy by that point. I'm playing against what the other person has and hoping your moves hit. So it's a lot more, those tiny little microscopic boosts in stats are worth it. But then you have IVs and EVs. Now I can't remember which one is which, but one of them is stats relative to that Pokemon. And for example, you could have a Pokemon that has decent health stat, a good special attack, and it goes through all the different stats. And the rankings are like poor, decent, good, perfect. And so the ideal is to get in a Pokemon with the nature that you want, all perfect stats. Right. Now getting that is a pain in the butt, and all it is just breeding. Breeding these two. And as I was telling you, you breed and breed and breed until you get a perfect in one stat. And then you take that Pokemon, shove it in there with your Ditto, which I've actually renamed my Ditto Chad, because he just stays in the nursery and just... So, you stick that Pokemon into the Chad, and then he's more likely to have a perfect stat in that regard, and then you keep on breeding it until you get perfect in 2 stats. Then you take that one, shove it in with Chad, and you keep on going until you make legit the perfect Pokemon. Yeah. And it's a pain, and also... people do this to make a perfect Ditto, a Ditto with perfect stats to increase the likelihood that its offspring will be perfect, and it's just, it's tedious, because let me tell you, I'm just breeding just trying to get shinies, and I'm breeding to try to get shinies, and I'm also breeding to just fill out my Pokedex. And doesn't take a long time to breed. This game yes,
that's correct.
In Schwield and Sword, breeding's a lot faster. Like my Chad, bro, like I leave him in there with a Pokemon, 3 seconds later there's an egg. It's just like, dang, Chad.
Wow, Chad.
And it's like, but it's super time consuming, and I know that's not the best description of professional Pokemon breeding, but it's, to my knowledge, how things work. I never really got into it. I wanted to, but then it just seemed like a lot of time and effort
for no gain.
For minimal, because I'm not a super competitive guy. I like playing games competitively. Yeah. But I'm not like micromanaging like our good friend Noah is, because back when we played Magic, I made a deck that I thought would be fun for me to play with, and I made sure that deck had some strategies that worked for itself. Yeah. And meanwhile, our good buddy Noah was looking at the top tier decks of that season per se. Yeah. And he would build a deck around that.
This is correct.
And then play with it. And I always found it funny because most of the time remember that deck he never won with?
It was like a $300 deck, right?
And I don't think he won. I'm gonna get a text when this episode goes up. I'm gonna get a text from Noah saying, "Actually, I did win like one round with this deck."
The thing is, so the first, I understandably, kind of sort of, not 100%, but understandably, the first night he got it, not getting any wins makes sense to the fact that it was a brand new deck, but that's his fault anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Meanwhile, my jank zombie deck I built, I was getting wins. Well, I got incredibly lucky. Well, Mono Black was number one. But I think Black White Zombies was like number 4 or something like that.
It was in the top.
It was in the top because it was because I am a little bit about me. I love zombie decks because it's a bunch of little guys that add up real quick and you can't do anything about them pretty much. Because I'm more of the fact of, don't waste all your time on one big dude, overwhelm them with a bunch of little dudes, because you can block a big dude, you can't block 12 little dudes. Yeah, it's at least harder to block 12 little dudes. So so I always loved zombie decks. And then Noah, I should have taken the bet with him. Noah and I had a bet that zombie decks would never be good again. I said they would be good again.
Well, if you remember, he said that, and we were at, it wasn't Augie's, it was Wasteland. And there was it was like after F&M.
It was after one of the F&Ms when we found out that Amonkhet was gonna have zombies in it.
Yeah, and everybody was talking about like the people there, and we were talking with people, and Noah said that, and people were like, "No, man, the zombies might make a comeback." And
I'm like, "Yeah, zombies are gonna make a comeback." And then Noah, I remember we made a deal in his truck, but we never followed through on it. Noah was like, "Zombies are never gonna come back." And he's like, "I would buy," and we were discussing buying like the most disgusting vial.
Card,
for the loser.
I forgot about that.
But then we never ended up doing it because like the card cover would have cost the winner $40. It was just like, and we're like, "Nah, that's not worth it." But I should have done it because guess what? He would have had to use these disgusting covers for one F&M. And it was funny because I wanted to do a mono black zombie deck, and I was looking at what people were saying to build out of that, and I was like, okay, I understand the gist of this deck. Yeah. And so I knew what I was looking for, but they were sold out of a bunch of the cards. Well, Wasteland didn't have the cards, and we're like, So I decided to go with black white zombie deck. And the cards were like 10 cents. Yeah. Like super cheap. Yeah. And then the Grand Prix went around. My deck shot up. It shot up from my base deck, minusing my Liliana I bought. The Liliana was $15, but the deck itself was like $17. The deck went from $17 to like $80 in one weekend. And I was like, dude, part of me just wants to sell it.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into the furthermore into the topic of competitive. So my thought on after the explanation of Pokemon, my thought on competitive Pokemon is, for me, compared to Magic in the sense that it's all
digital.
Yeah, it's like if you don't have XYZ, then you're not gonna win. So to me, a game that has a set standard, if that makes sense, shouldn't be declared competitive in the sense that it's to maybe a like CS:GO or
I see your point.
Stuff like that. Like, I don't think those two should be compared, even though they're completely different genres.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying, and as I sort of mentioned off the podcast when we were just talking about when we were getting our thoughts on this topic, I mentioned I'm like I love going to competition for a video game.
Mm-hmm.
I never truly understood unless you're on a team, like a proper esports team. The only one I could relatively understand just because of how much I love the game is Smash Ultimate. Because
and no to Smash Ultimate, Smash you have to practice like
ad
hours.
nauseum. Yeah,
it's
but like that's the thing. Like and it may just be because I'm more of a board game kind of guy. I mean, I love video games and I put a lot of hours into video games, but like, if you gave me the opportunity to spend a full day, up here playing video games all day, or a day me and a couple friends playing board games, I'd pick board games every time because I love board games, and so that's why I think going to competitive Magic tournaments or all the other card games we talked about, that makes a little more sense to me, mainly because like that's more up my alley. Now granted, I'm not a huge fan of super competitive Magic because
I'll agree with this. Super competitive Magic, and
super competitive anything really. Like I don't think there's anything that once you cross the line of super competitive that it's fun anymore. And that's something to me. Like when I play video games to have fun, and I know that people will tell me, it's like, you gotta play to get good. You gotta. I know I play games in general, board games, video games. I play them to have fun. And Magic, I had a ton of fun in. But then when we started doing like big FNMs, people were just trying to build these top tier decks, ironing them out, prepping for competitions that were coming in weeks, and I'm just like, and then I'm sitting there, I'm like, I just built a deck that I was gonna have fun with.
And that's where the idea of, I'm trying to think how to put this perfectly, idea of competitive, I think people should look at the term competitive, and then look at different areas and actually like define if that's competitive or not.
Let's see, what is the definition for competitive? Competitive. Wait, hold on. Can I get a better definition than that? Relating to or characterized by competition. So competitive is just competition. Okay. In a basic sense, but can I get a better definition than that?
that's like using the same word to define.
I was about to say, it's like, well, I mean, granted, it's an adjective of, let's see, competitive. Gosh, let's define competition.
Yeah, that might work.
Okay, because it's all saying like someone who's inclined, desiring, or suited to compete. So like someone who like strives to compete with people.
I think that's perfect. That definition right there.
Yeah, that's what a competitive person is. They strive to be better. They strive, and I mean, not that there's anything wrong with striving to be better, but they strive to, I don't want to use this term, but one up the other one. They want to make sure they are at the top.
The best, yeah.
But here's the Merriam-Webster definition of competition. Wow.
Oh no.
Number 1 says the act or process of competing.
Thank you.
Wait, hold on. Here's some sub-definitions. The effort of 2 or more parties acting independently to secure the business of a third party by offering... That's competition in companies.
Yeah.
All right, let's just get a definition of competing. Thank you, Merriam-Webster, for being literally the worst online dictionary. Guess what the definition for competing is?
Competition.
In a state of rivalry or competition.
Golly. That's like the number 1 rule of like not defining things.
Don't. Oh my gosh, can I get like an actual definition for competitive, please? Let's try Business Dictionary. Oh my gosh, keep using... You can't use a word to define a word.
Yeah. I guess what I was going with that is the whole striving.
Yeah.
And then when you look at games like Magic and Pokemon, that already has like a set thing you need to get to, which I guess you could say that's striving for that. But the point I'm making here is compared to, say, I'll even use board games because I just thought of board games are, yeah. So let's just say chess. I mean, chess is one.
Okay.
Something like chess. FPS is. I'm trying to think of other ones.
You just made me think of something interesting.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's actually it's interesting you brought up chess because I just realized it. So imagine, think about competitive chess. Competitive chess, the rules have been the same for hundreds of years. But then in these card games, video games, the rules and little minutia is constantly changing.
Yeah.
So, like, if you are trying to keep up, if you want to be competitive in these new states, it's non-stop
adjusting
and tinkering and basically trial and error.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a pro chess player he just plays chess.
Yeah.
Like that's Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, for like chess and FPSs and some board games too. Like to me, you can be the best, but for like Magic and Pokemon, you can be the best.
But just for now, hold on. It's like the best for now.
Yeah, it's like Pokemon. Not Pokemon. Like let's just say Pikachu, Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle. Let's just say that's the team. That's not the team. Let's just say that's the team. Okay.
Okay.
You get perfect stacks on all of them. The perfect Pokemon, and you're playing against somebody who has the exact same team.
Yeah.
Exact same everything.
So you're saying games which have that hypothetical ceiling of the best.
Yes.
It's kind of hard to be competitive because everyone strives, and then once it gets there, it's just RNG.
Yes. That's my point. To me, that's not competition. That's at that point, RNG.
So you're saying things like Magic, you like those things with the ideal perfect deck, or the perfect team build.
Perfect team build.
So you're saying, in your mind, something to qualify as competitive, it has to involve a little more randomness and strategy.
Randomness and strategy. Now, I was going to say there is strategy to Magic. I will say that because depending on the card you draw.
Tons of strategy in both Magic and Pokemon.
Yes.
But you're talking. I'm thinking more of thinking on your feet, random, like where things aren't structured in a sense.
Yeah, that's to me. If things are structured, it's already laid out. Except for, like if you get a critical hit in Pokemon or something, right? Like, the chances of that, I don't know what the chances of that happening is.
Well, I mean, once you get the IVs and EVs up, it's more likely than you think.
Just stuff like that. Like, to me, that doesn't qualify for competitive.
Okay.
So you explained it best, where there's a ceiling, everybody wants to hit that ceiling, and once you hit that ceiling, you cannot get any better.
It's just RNG.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So all right, I'm going to pivot this conversation to a big thing. This is a big debate among our friend group, especially, even though I say debate among our friend group, I'm the only one on this side. So, all right, how about this, Huber?
I'm listening.
So then, hypothetically, in this case, where the more random, the more out of the box you have to think, the more you're tested.
Yeah.
Then would technically pro Smash players just play with items and base everything? Smash Ball's items.
Are you talking about Smash Bros. Playing with items on?
Yes.
In terms of like just.
Well, because think about it. So.
Because I know they don't play with items.
They don't play with items. I know. But like, there's a huge argument in the Smash community, and Noah and I have talked ad nauseum about this. But there's a huge debate on
see what you're saying
items
now.
On or items off. When it comes down to true skill, items on or items off. And now there's the argument that items off, because then it's the two players and their raw fighting power.
That's the argument for that side, right?
That's the argument for that side. But my argument for having items on is that the game has the items in it to throw things off. And if you can adapt your strategy or your plan around these randomly spawning things, then I feel like you're not a better player, but a more well-rounded player.
No, I think I can agree with that, because if you, as a player, cannot adapt to a scenario
with
you're
items,
not, with like you're not when you're introduced to a new environment. If you cannot adapt to that environment quickly, then you shouldn't be able to, be on that scene. I'm trying to think of another example. Let's see. I'm trying to think.
Let's just use the example of, I can only think of this because I play this, Overwatch, and they released a new hero patch, and then a huge character shift is done. Like, let's say your main that you play in Overwatch is a huge shift in stats and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like when they did, think of this in reverse, but sort of like when they did the Reaper patch, and Reaper became stupidly OP for a bit.
Yeah.
And then and then people were complaining that Reaper shouldn't be in the game, but
he's a tank.
But he's a
tank killer, not tank, but
yeah. So like, what you're trying to say, like, if let's say for example a pro team, when this Reaper patch came out, couldn't handle a Reaper, you think they shouldn't be in the scene if they couldn't adapt?
If you can't adapt, like, then you've seen
Overwatch is actually a decent example for that, because the whole game is about adapting your team to the specific scenario.
And also, like, in let's say a 1v3, it's knowing who to go for first, switching if necessary. There's so many, to me, there's so many different factors that play in to stuff like Overwatch that compared to, like, Pokemon or Magic, a scenario might come up, but there's a direct, like, super direct counter to it.
Yeah, or you, like... Actually, this reminds me of something my programming teacher taught me.
No.
It's actually, So he was talking about how there was this kid who joined the company he was working at.
Ugh.
This guy could code in Cobalt backwards and forwards.
Okay.
Okay? This guy was amazing. And the way he learned this is that when he was taught, he was given all these issues that Cobalt has. Boom, and he could solve it like that. Boom, 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 boom. He didn't understand how it worked, but he knew this is the problem, this is the solution, put it together. He didn't functionally understand how the coding base was set up, so that when he switched over to C#, which is what the company was using over there, he was learning from scratch, because he just knew this is the problem, this is the solution, put the two together. But once he had to switch over to C#, he was like, this doesn't work anymore, and he had to start over. And so, if that makes sense of how that connects back, sort of. Sort of like...
It's being able to...
Well, like in a game like Magic, here's a problem, here's your solution. Put it together. And you keep on doing that, but then once something changes, like a fundamental deck change or a banning of a card or something like that, your solution no longer fits, and you're just kind of...
but then something else comes up.
Yeah.
In the sense that, like, let's just say Shock, which is a 2 damage, 1 mountain card. I believe it wasn't. I don't think it was exactly that card, but it was a card similar to that got an increased in cost. So, like, it wasn't just 1; it was like 2, which is a lot for the.
Wait, was it 2 red or was it like
2 red? Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty pricey.
So it was like a fundamental change. So people had to just restructure everything around.
And then, but like once they restructured, it was just
it was the same
boom,
thing.
Boom, boom, boom. And so that's something interesting. And I really am glad that we I want us to keep touching on Smash, because people will always tell you, it's like, bro, 1v1 items off, final destination, let's go. And I'm like, but the game was designed with these items to spice up the game. And so I'm a huge... granted, I haven't played with items in a long time, because everyone I play with is like, items off. Yeah. That's not a true test of skill. The items add this little flair of insanity and thinking on your feet that I love about Smash. Because think about it. Let's say you're trying to build the Kirby glider. Yeah. Okay. You have to get the 3 parts of the Kirby glider. Right. And so, honestly, let's say, for example, you and I were 1v1ing. You had 2 pieces of the Kirby glider. I'd pick up that 3rd piece in a heartbeat just to stop you from getting that Kirby glider. And then hoping that I can knock a stock off you and get the other 2 parts. And, like, there's a bit of strategy to that. But then I also noticed there's a Pokeball down there, and Pokeballs are awful. They are.
Yeah, it just depends on who you get.
Depends on who you get. You either get like a Wobbuffet that does nothing, or you get like freaking that deer from X who like just shifts the world.
He's like, whoa.
And like that's the thing. I like, and I mean this is to my personality. I like randomness. I like variety, which is why I like things like anime, because all the characters are weird and weird looking. It's why I love Overwatch. All the characters are different and they work differently, and so that I'm never bored. But the thing is, once you get into competitive in other things, it kind of gets kind of boring because it's just formulaic.
It's cookie cutter.
It's cookie cutter, yeah.
That's basically
once the formula's figured out, no one changes it until something fundamentally changes.
Yeah.
But then in the game like Overwatch, it's cookie cutter, yes, but like there's more cookies.
It's cookie cutter in the sense that team comps might be
cookie cutter,
but the skill level of each player
and which players are in which roles and where those characters position, and like there are arguments to be made on games like R6 that can get a little formulaic, but then also it matters on skill of the players. But like I feel like Overwatch is the best example of a competitive first person shooter because there's enough shift. But R6, correct me if I'm wrong, you can't change your operator mid match, right?
There's like rounds. Each round's like 3 minutes, and after like
the rounds you can change your operator.
Yeah, so it's like, well, they changed it recently. You have 3 attacking rounds back to back to back, and then you have 3 defending rounds back to back to back.
Okay.
And you can ban operators too, so that's where strategy can come in for that. But so that's where knowing the map, knowing the operators, banning the correct ops, just stuff like that.
And I hate to be, I know you're a fan of R6, but can you understand what I'm trying to say when I say it's like it's a bit formulaic in that point? Once you figure out what works,
in the sense of banning, that's probably the most cookie cutter thing about it.
Yeah,
like there's like certain maps where you wouldn't let. You know Buck, I guess.
Yeah.
He's like the shotgun guy. Like he's
Halo. It's not my fault that Halo 3 has a guy named Buck with a shotgun.
True. They came out with it first.
Yeah.
Or well,
I don't know. I never played the other R games.
I was gonna say, when did Tom Clancy write his books? But
when did Tom Clancy? Dude, I forget that Tom Clancy was books first.
Yeah, I
because we had the Tom Clancy. Well, there's the Ghost Recon series, the Division. Yeah. Then there's the Splinter Cell series. Then we have the Rainbow.
Rainbow series.
Is it Rainbow?
Yep.
Siege, or is it like
just Rainbow?
Rainbow series. Cool.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
It's very, very weird.
Yeah. No, that's.
But I hope y'all understand kind of the position or the talk there.
Okay, so let's round out this discussion and then move on to our normal babbling gook that we usually do. Do you think there is a place for hyper competitive games? Like, well, okay, in your life, do you think you'll ever get hyper competitive in a game that?
I would like to, but. The issue is if you want to be good in that game, you have to play it when it first comes out. You have to.
It's like, well, I mean, that's not like entirely true. You'll have an advantage over the others, but like if someone puts in the time and they're like naturally good, they can pick it up.
Yeah, like stuff like that is fine, but like what I mean by let's just say Overwatch. Like when Overwatch came out, if you played Overwatch when it came out, and you look at yourself now, I mean, you would be insane, but
well, it's
just stuff like that.
See, as I said when we at the top of this conversation, I'm not a hyper competitive guy. I play things to have fun, and I'll stop playing something once there's no more fun in it. Once I am starting to just do it just to do it and not having fun anymore. And
that's the issue with pros. That's actually like an actual issue.
Well, yeah, that's why they retire when they're like 24. Well, they retire when they're 24 because reflexes get down, but also it's got to be tiring.
There was interviews for Overwatch people, and they said...
well, how old's Sinatra now? He's 19?
I'm not sure.
Sinatra was 17 when he got signed. He's like 18, almost 19 probably now. Yeah, dude, he's got to be tired.
That's what they say. They say they get so burned out, and they say they love the game, but it's just playing it day in and day out.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want that to happen.
I don't think I would ever want that exactly.
And this kind of digs into a conversation we had a long time ago about abandoning a game versus taking a break from a game, and like how long is an appropriate amount of time to look at a game and say adios. I never want to burn myself out. The last video game I burned myself out on, like a game that I despised playing after playing it so long, was Halo 5 Guardians.
Yeah.
After that one night of just playing the same game mode that I love that game mode, and I've played that game mode and all the other Halo games so much, but playing that one game mode for so long, I never wanted to look at that game mode again. I hated the maps of that game mode. I hated the gameplay, and then I would play a game like Warzone. I'm like, this game's taking forever, and I wasn't having fun with Halo anymore.
Yeah, you weren't having.
And I made my own fun at the despair of Daniel Russell. oof. At this despair of Daniel Russell, I made my own fun in that game. Here's the thing.
That's a scene and a half.
I still don't feel bad about it. I never felt bad about it, and I think I loved it so much. And I think the only reason I did it to Daniel, I wouldn't have done it to anyone else but Daniel, but the reason I did it to Daniel is because how into Halo 5 Guardians he was. Remember when he sent us a picture of his coffee table that he flipped across the room? Yeah. And he broke the leg on? He broke
one of the legs, yeah.
But no one has noticed that the leg's been broken on it. Like he flipped a table because he lost a Warzone match, and I'm like, dude.
Well, it was because he got a wreck, and I think he either got like jacked immediately or shot down like immediately, but it was an expensive one. And then he raged off of that, which is understandable, but raging that hard.
Okay, wait. Let's do a little side thing. Rage in video games. Yeah. You've been guilty of it, not physically.
I've raged.
Not physically, but you have.
I've done it before. I've only actually screamed a few times.
I'm a very chill dude. It's very rare that I rage in a game. I will get salty. I'm not gonna lie. I get salty sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever come on, dude, what are you doing? It's like, get your head in the game. I've gotten raged at many a times because of the thing of when I stop having fun, I make my own fun in the game, and teams don't like that too much. When you crash a Phaeton into the side of a mountain. We need to get Daniel back on over the summer. We need to get him back for our temporary solution for a permanent problem.
That's right.
All right. Let's just gobbledygook now.
But
any closing remarks you have on competitive gaming?
Well,
or competitive.
You mentioned
natures?
something and I forget.
Cool.
You mentioned as an extension off of this, and
wait, rage. Talking about raging game?
It was either rage. It was rage or it was before that. Like you said, it might have been rage.
Oh, like burnout and stuff like that.
No, I'm gonna stick with rage. I don't remember what it was. Anyways, rage. It's understandable in the sense that you get mad, but screaming and flipping a table and pushing things around. I wish we had a picture. We might still have the picture. I don't know. Someone probably still has the picture of that.
Daniel
somewhere.
Probably does, honestly.
Yeah. But I'm trying to. Let's see. If it's for money, understandable.
Okay, yeah, that.
But casually, or in a ranked mode that isn't too high.
I love you're making excuses for things that you've raged on, when you do ranked, but not too high of ranked.
Not too high, no. Because, I'll be honest, I hate teammates that are retarded. Nothing makes me more mad than a person who's playing competitive that shouldn't be playing competitive. That makes sense.
Okay. Playing competitive when they shouldn't be competitive, or playing the way they are at a competitive rank they shouldn't be doing that at.
Both.
Okay.
Both. Let's just say I guess I'm just using R6 for example. So Plat. There's Plat 3, Plat 2, and Plat 1.
Yeah.
Plat 2 is where it actually starts getting like pretty serious. Serious is quotation mark. But like everything below that is kind of the casual person. But when you get in Plat 2, my thing is if you're at that rink and you don't know something, either you got carried and boosted, or you should not be there and either learn quickly, which, I mean, you'll learn pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's not too hard. Or don't play competitive. And the other part of that is, like, just say when you and me are playing or other people are playing and we're playing competitive and we have, like, someone who basically only plays casual and they're like, I'll play a competitive game today. And literally screw that team over. You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It happens way too often. There should be a system to stop that.
There should be a system.
There needs to be like, you haven't played in 3 days. We're going to ease you into this. And then you can play at your rink. Or something. Not that harsh, but...
No, I mean, dude, it's just... I mean...
That's my TED Talk.
Okay, that's your TED Talk. Yeah, so in summary, we both believe that... First off, both of us have a hard time believing in Pokemon and even to an extent Magic in super competitive formats.
Yeah, again, referring to a ceiling.
Or any games with a ceiling.
If it has a ceiling, then it's not, to me, it's not competitive. It's just...
RNG.
It's just saying, hey, I'm going to get to this level and learn the strategies.
Yeah. Okay. So... And then, sort of, as we said, games with a little bit more spark of randomness, a little more skill and thinking on your feet. Mm-hmm. So, like, a typical fighting game. Like, I said Smash as an example, but Smash, no items, is still very competitive. And it's because
it is.
It's reacting, and you have to think on your feet regardless. Yeah. I just personally enjoy items more because it adds that extra... Those, as you said earlier, extra variables that you have to think on, and I love it because everyone I play with is so salty when items get turned on. Mm-hmm. They're like, items need to be turned off. And I'm like, but dude, I'll agree there are some items in Smash that
I was going to say that.
Because, like, for
some
example,
items can be turned off.
The ones that are sort of unstoppable, sort of. Like, a good example is the the Scarab from Skyward Sword. The bug that you throw up in the air and then it like comes down and grabs one person, just and like and you can get out of it, but you have to like hit every button on the controller 20 times in 3 seconds.
It's
like there are some items that I can understand, but like, dude, a home run bat, get that sucker in there.
Like there's there's certain
magic
things.
Wand, keep in there.
Certain things are okay.
What's the black hole one can? Black hole one's not too bad.
As long as it's not a KO.
Yeah, as long as it's not an instant... Well, I mean, if it's an instant KO, it needs to be something like the glider or the sniper rifle. Because you have to... It's not like you just grab it and you go, oh, boom. You have to get multiple parts and then dodge attacks and not drop the 3 parts.
Right.
And then, so it's like I like items in Smash. Come fight me, 1v1, items turned on, Final Destination.
Final Destination.
Also, Big Battlefield actually is probably my favorite map in that one because it's got all the platforms and the different layers. Because everyone's like, I love it that people like when they want to challenge someone one-on-one. They're like one-on-one, Final Destination, no items. They literally took Smash Brothers as a whole and stripped it down to just a fighting game. Like they take out the items, they take out the platforms. Now there are some maps with platforms that I despise, like DK46 or whatever it is. And then Pac-Land.
Pac-Land is well, are you talking about DK, the platform one?
Yeah, the one that's like
he's throwing barrels.
He's throwing barrels.
Oh, yeah,
and
that
you're
one's
on these,
terrible.
But I think I hate Pac-Land more because you're not fighting each other, you're fighting the map.
You're fighting the map. You're just running around, occasionally hitting somebody and then running away because you almost died to getting knocked out of the map.
Bailiff, actually, I've been watching some people play as Bailiff, the new fighter in Smash.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some cheese to him that some people have found on certain maps. He has sort of a Bayonetta combo that he can knock people off the top of the map.
Mm.
It's only in certain maps, though.
Yeah.
But, like, dude, just No, I just see the competitive, like, because it was just someone going knock, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I don't need that.
It's
gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
So what do you want to talk about? Let's just.
So that was that little section. I think we had one more thing to talk about, and I believe that was the Scatterpot gaming.
Well, so okay, I wasn't sure if we were going to announce it on this podcast, but we can. So Huber and I have officially decided. We'll probably just because it'll be better. We'll probably do a small announcement video on the YouTube channel that maybe some people will watch it. Maybe just instead of it being just only on this podcast, just for the people who subscribe to us but not watch our videos. We know who you are.
We know who you are.
But yeah, so Huber and I have officially decided to attempt and try out. Yeah. This isn't an official thing that we're gonna keep doing, but we're gonna try out doing Scatterpot gaming.
Yes.
It's gonna be on the Scatterpot podcast channel. I'm gonna change the name to just like I don't know, Scatterpot Production, Scatterpot. I don't know. We need it to be something that when you look it up, it's not like Scatterpots. Well, we can discuss that off the podcast. But yeah, we're gonna try gaming. We are probably going to go with about 10-minute long episodes. For the most part, unedited, but like editing where needed.
Yeah. Just
so I don't die. With work, school, work, class, not classes, but class, work, class, and this podcast. But we're gonna try to record. We're gonna find a day. We're gonna record some episodes, and we're gonna test it out, see if we like it. And if we like it, we'll do Scatterpot gaming. It's a fun thing. We're looking at potentially posting once or twice a week. We will announce more once we know more, but yeah, that's a project we're working on.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Huber, this is completely unrelated to anything. But you like the new wallpaper? Well, not the new. I have it set up so it cycles through different wallpapers, and it was really hard to find wallpapers that span across 3 screens. But if you want to see a cool feature that I added to my computer, hold down the control key and then press on the numpad 1, 2, and 3 at the exact same time.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, turn down the volume on the TV.
Where's the volume? The remote's not here, Kaden.
It's the chunky remote.
It's not here, Kaden.
I swear it's over there.
Oh.
That one.
Golly.
I wish I could have put it all on one. I wanted it to spread across all 3, but it kept on like zoom. Instead of stretching this way, it was stretching diagonally. Turn it down even more, bro. It's still coming through. Never got continued. No, he hasn't continued. Literally while I was setting this up, you just close Wallpaper Engine.
Oh, dude, this is great. What do you mean?
Check out the YouTube to see what Huber was looking at.
Yeah.
But no, it was funny. Originally, I wanted it. Also, it's really annoying. I wanted it to clone across all 3 and set a hotkey to that. Yeah. But for some weird reason, when I did the hotkey to clone across all 3, it was not doing it across all 3. So I had to individually pick it for each one and then set control maps to control 1, 2, and 3. So now if I ever have that open, I can hit control just all 3 keys and summon
Link.
And summon Lonk.
Yeah, I guess that is Lonk.
Gosh. Well, why don't we move into the fun fact of the week?
Did you know?
Did I know?
That the only place you cannot get Coca-Cola is Cuba and North Korea.
Is that like Coke products in general or just Coca-Cola?
I guess Coke products in general.
Gosh, you gotta look this up.
He's looking it up right now, guys. He's looking it up.
Oh, one thing I wanted to quickly talk about. Let's talk about, since we still have some time left. Where was it in Korea? You said
North Korea and Cuba.
They're just. They are at Cuba and North Korea, which are both long term. It looks like they're saying Coca-Cola and not
just a drink.
And so they're not saying Coke products. Is the moment you can say there'll be a real change going on here? Coca-Cola, right? North Korea and the other Coca-Cola. That's interesting, man.
Why? I don't know.
But no, one thing I also wanted to talk about, because I've been trying to get us to talk about this for a bit, but let's talk about like movies we've seen this year. Because as anyone that doesn't know, that's my wonderful cable tester box.
Beefy thing.
Yeah, it's chonker. But my goal is to see 100 movies that came out in 2020. In 2020, pass me my little notebook. I think I've seen 8. I think I've seen. Ugh. Yeah, but you've seen 2 movies in 2020 so far.
Yes, and that's it.
Yeah, I have seen 8 movies. And so far, I have to be honest, not really pumped with all the movies I've seen in 2020. My favorite one so far is 1917, which technically came out in 2019, but it finally came to a theater near me in 2020.
Right.
My second favorite one would probably be Weathering with You, which is the other movie you saw with me.
All right. Yes.
I think that movie suffers because of how widely successful Your Name was.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing that's funny to me. I thought through it, and Your Name is really the opposite of what Makoto Shinkai is like if you've seen his other films. His films either end in one of 2 ways. Either A, the couple never gets together, or B, the couple gets together but something horrible happens because of it or due to it.
Yeah.
Your Name, the couple got together and nothing horrible happened.
The horrible thing that happened got reversed.
Reversed, and they got together, which I feel like is the one reason why I was so surprised by that movie, because I'm like, we got
a happy
ending on both, because I forget, like, if old Makoto Shinkai made Your Name, like classic Makoto Shinkai from the early 2000s, guess when Your Name would have probably ended? It would have probably ended when they walked by each other in the storm and like didn't look back. Well, they looked back at each other, but no like connection, like when they just kind of like walk past each other and they're like, and then he keeps on walking and then she turns around, not when they're on the staircase, but when they're on the bridge and they like pass each other and they both look at each other but like at different times and they neither of them really noticed. That's where Makoto Shinkai would have ended it probably in his olden days, but then he decided, you know what, I'll put them together.
Why not?
Because I was watching, I've gone back through and rewatched a bunch of his old movies, and I forgot how depressing he ends all his movies.
Just sir, you got to.
Because like
you have to.
The Land That We Were Once Promised, it ends with these 2 characters who are in love with each other. One's in a coma. The only way for them to get together is if they go through this tower that's gonna pretty much destroy half the planet. So they do that.
Half the planet's gone.
Half the planet's gone, but they're in love. 5 centimeters per second, which is a really good Makoto Shinkai movie. It actually has a very depressing final shot. The story is this one dude. It's in 3 chapters of his life. When he's a little kid, there's this girl that he hung out with all the time. And as I grew up, she moved to a town way out of the way. The first chapter is about him getting on a train, trying to get to her, but the train keeps getting delayed. And he just wants to see her. And at the very end of chapter 1, they see each other and they talk and they have a great time. And he's all sad because he was like, I'm sorry, you've been waiting here for like 4 hours. Chapter 2 is about this other girl who liked him, but he didn't really care for. And how he still loved the girl that moved towns over. Chapter 3 is the gut puncher. Because what happens in chapter 3 is they're adults now.
Right.
I don't think he's married. He has a job. And I don't know if the girl's married. But the way that it ends is that they walk. Well, no, they're at a train stop. You know, like the classic anime shot of like 2 sides of a train track and like cherry blossoms in this. Yeah, you know exactly what kind of shot I'm talking about. Crossing guards there. The 2 of them stare at each other like, train comes through and blocks their vision. And then when the train's gone, the girl had left. she just didn't care enough, and you're just like, oh, you're like why Makoto Shinkai? So he usually ends sad. So I think the fact that Your Name ended happy, everyone was like, oh, and then they watched Weathering with You, where they spoiler alert,
Tokyo
destroy Tokyo.
Like half of Tokyo.
Half of Tokyo is destroyed.
It's underwater.
It's underwater, and it's just, and then it's like trying to play it off as a happy moment, but I just don't think average moviegoers were ready for that, especially considering this is the guy who did Your Name.
And people were still living in Tokyo, like in the other side, like businesses were still running, and
yeah,
that didn't make sense to me. It's like,
well, that's the thing. Like the movie, I liked the movie a lot. I did. I liked it a lot, but a lot of questions did not get answered, and that's the part that upset me. Because Your Name, for the most part, they answered 90% of the questions. The only question they didn't answer is how can these two communicate with each other. But guess what? That's just one of the things you're like,
that works.
That's the given. Yeah. That's the
yeah.
Just accept that these two can communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And then every other bit of the story makes sense beyond that. Like every little there's only one thing in the movie that doesn't make that much sense in Your Name. It's how his phones just started deleting the notifications after he realized she's dead. Sort of deal, like trying to play it like, oh, maybe they never exist. Like that was the only part that didn't really make sense. It's just like, but they say like there's at least some explanation.
Yeah.
But in Weathering with You, there were every time she used her rain clearing power, there was like a tsunami in another area.
And basically,
and then they never really discussed it further. And like part of me thought that it was going to be revealed that she caused the tsunami that almost killed him on his boat over to Japan or Tokyo. I thought that was going to be a reveal. It wasn't a reveal. There was that weird thing of like a giant whale in that alleyway with those two kids. And then they exploded into like
I think that was just trying to hint like, oh, there's something more to this. Well, but like, there's no point.
There was no definite answer.
There's no reason to do that.
And I mean, and also that movie. I'm not gonna like. I love that movie actually.
They all die.
It's also we can both agree on this.
I thought a kid was about to get clapped. I'm not,
dude.
At the end.
Oh yeah, no, but let's be honest. The movie is beautiful.
Sure.
Don't just sure that.
Sure, it's okay.
No, yeah, you know, it's just
Kill la Kill looks better, but
dude, I could pull up a screenshot of Kill la Kill, and I guarantee you it wouldn't look good. I could pick any screenshot from Weathering with You, and it would look better than anything Kill la Kill ever did.
Nah.
Yeah. No, you mean Osama Diago or whatever.
That really ugly looking anime.
Which one? No, I was talking about what my sister called it. I got killed.
There's a really ugly looking anime.
Pop Team Epic?
I don't know.
Fully Cooley?
It starts with an A. I think it's like Asobi something. But the characters have the most ugly looking face, like, and they do it on purpose.
So here's the thing, there are some animes that have really ugly animation styles, but like, it's like for a stylistic appeal. Like Mob Psycho, they look disgusting, but I actually really like it. I'm trying to find I'm looking at Ranker's top 24 ugliest anime characters of all time, and I'm trying to see what shows they're from. These are I can't. These are all just individual. It doesn't even tell you what shows.
We didn't turn these on before, Cam.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't even tell you which shows these characters are from. They just like, they're ugly. That's fun. Man, I really want to know what show you're talking about. All right, well,
I have the power.
Oh yeah, other movies that I've seen.
Yes.
2020's The Grudge, god awful. I was bored out of my mind, and the ending was predictable. Like a Boss, starring Tiffany Haddish, Rose Byrne, and Salma Hayek. Underwater surprised me. Actually, that one was really good. Saw the new Doolittle movie with how did you pull up whatever you just did so quickly? And why do I
see?
Wait, what is this? The show?
Yeah.
How did you find it so quickly?
It's you just know.
How did you? I'm impressed. If I'm like all joking aside, I am 1,000% impressed. You were looking. It's not even that ugly. It's just like certain shots.
No, that's my point. There's certain shots. I might do it again. Yeah, there it is. It's like.
Hold on, rewind it and put it on the second screen so people who watch the YouTube video can actually see it. Holy crap. But other movies I saw the Doolittle movie with Robert Downey Jr. That one was pretty boring. The Turning was god-awful. And then I saw The Gentleman, which was kind of boring, but it was really entertaining when it wasn't boring. Oh, I'm going to try to focus on the screen. Alright, there we go. Now they can see. What show is this?
Oh, yeah, and the audio is terrible, too. I forgot. Called the Asobi Asabase.
Asobi Asabase. Oh, yeah, that remote changes the color.
Yeah, I just noticed. What the crap? It's like universal.
Well, no, it just uses the same infrared as the... Wow. Alright, stop it. You've lost computer privileges once again.
You've lost your penis privileges.
Stop in the name of the law. You've lost. Oh my gosh. Alright, well, this has been the
Scatterplot.
The Scatterplot. Yeah. You know what? We'll
Podcast.
dive into the Scatterplot naming scheme. This has been the Scatterplot podcast. Hope you guys have enjoyed. I have wait, first off, let's say you can find our YouTube channel at the Scatterpot Podcast, which might change, who knows, because depending on depends on what we figure out to name it. We're gonna maybe start doing gaming videos soon. You can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, everywhere pretty much.
Basically everywhere.
At Scatterpot Podcast. We're on Spotify, and I never got back from Pandora, so I have no idea if we're on Pandora, but who listens to podcasts on Pandora?
Who knows?
And then finally, you can follow us on the Instagram at Scatterpot_podcast, which we might just make a separate one for gaming. Who knows?
It depends.
Figure it out. We'll figure everything out.
Y'all just listen.
You guys listen and enjoy. I hope you enjoy this rambling and talking about things that nobody else cares about. I've been Kanan.
And I've been your David. And this has been the
His name's not David,
Podcast.
that's a lie. Fake news.